Hey, this is Tom with Creepy Stir Fry, where we look at the odd, mystical, and supernatural. Today, we are going to discuss the third man syndrome, so let's get started. Third man syndrome, also referred to as third man factor, is a unique phenomenon that affects people in very extreme, dire situations, such as near-death experiences or intense stress. People report feeling a presence or a companion that seems to guide or support them in their time of misery. The third man is often described as a comforting or protective figure, and some people interpret it as a spiritual or supernatural presence. People have certainly been experiencing this very unique phenomenon for a countless number of years. Stories of guardian angels and spirits not only protecting people during life-threatening events, but even assisting them out in danger into safety are common throughout the world. However, the third man syndrome had its genesis roughly 100 years ago. In the early part of the 20th century, it gained prominence after the explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton recounted similar experiences during his harrowing journeys. In his 1919 book South, Shackleton described his belief that an incorporeal companion joined him and his men during the final leg of his 1914 to 1917 Antarctic expedition, where they became stranded in a pack of ice for more than 2 years and endured immense hardships in the attempt to reach safety. Shackleton wrote, "During that long and racking march of 36 hours over the unnamed mountains and glaciers of South Georgia, it seemed to me often that we were 4, not 3. His admission resulted in other survivors of extreme hardship coming forward and sharing similar experiences. Shackleton's 2 companions, Tom Crean and Frank Worsley, also had strong sensation of an unseen figure at their side. Even before Shackleton mentioned anything to his companions, Worsley said to him, 'Boss, I had a curious feeling on the march that there was another person with us.' Crean confessed to the same idea. One feels the dearth of human words, the roughness of mortal speech, in trying to describe things intangible, but a record of our journeys would be incomplete without the reference to a subject very near to our hearts." Shackleton's experiences with this phenomena inspired T.S. Eliot to write about it in his 1922 modernist poem, The Wasteland. In lines 359 through 365, Eliot writes, "Who is the third who walks always beside you? When I count, there are only you and I together. But when I look ahead up the white road, there is always another one walking beside you, gliding wrapped in a brown mantle, hooded. I do not know whether a man or a woman, but who is that on the other side of you?" It is the reference to the third in this poem that has given the phenomenon its name. In more recent times, several well-known climbers and polar explorers have experienced this as well. One explorer was documented by climber Joe Simpson in his 1988 book, Touching the Void, where he recounts his near-death experience in the Peruvian Andes. Simpson describes a voice which encouraged him and directed him as he crawled back to his base camp after suffering a horrible leg injury high on the Ciula Grande and falling off a cliff into a crevasse. Let's now go through some more first-hand stories, each one of these occurring in different settings, yet with similar experiences and outcomes. I was walking alone at around 1 a.m. in a statistically safe neighborhood when I noticed a group of 3 men walking towards me. I was an 18-year-old girl without a weapon, and I felt absolute terror washed over me. I knew these men meant me harm. Suddenly, the men stopped walking, and one said, "Sorry guys, we didn't see you there." I looked at them in shock, but they weren't looking at me. They were looking next to me. I knew then that I wasn't alone, even though I couldn't see my companions. The men could see them, and that's all that I cared about. I heard 2 extra steps of heavy footsteps until I was about a block away from my house. I thanked them and didn't ever go walking in the middle of the night again. And here's one more. The house that my parents lived in had a sort of steep staircase leading down into the basement. The handrail is on the left side, going down, and there's a wall on the right side. When I was a teenager and home alone, I slipped on a step and started falling down. I reached out both hands, my left to grab the handrail and my right to get some friction against the wall. But I couldn't find the railing. As I was falling, I felt a hand grab my right hand to stop me. It pulled me hard. I could feel the tug up through my armpit. My left hand had been unable to get a good grip on the handrail, so it was all this phantom hand that stopped me. With any paranormal experience, there are many hypotheses for what the third man syndrome could be, ranging from guardian angels and long-deceased ancestors to our brain psychologically protecting us in moments of extreme stress. If the third man is real, what exactly are they, and how many are out there helping others? Could they actually be guardian angels? Or simply deceased spirits doing penance, or just wanting to lend a helping hand, assisting the living through situations they may have fallen victim to when they were alive? Could there potentially be an attachment to this entity, like an imaginary friend from childhood sticking around through adulthood? And if there is a benevolent voice, like a guardian angel pushing someone to safety, encouraging that person not to give up at a vulnerable moment, might there also be a malevolent spirit encouraging the complete opposite? An evil third man, the devil on your shoulder telling you it's not worth the energy to keep moving forward. Clearly, this is all speculation, and we do not know what is actually going on when people have these experiences. It could be explained by our psyche creating a coping mechanism under extreme stress, and as a result, a sense of detachment and hallucination. Even if this is the case, it raises interesting questions about consciousness and perception in critical moments. I'd be intrigued to see actual tests to further prove or disprove if third man is more mere explainable brain phenomenon or something more. So let's circle back to Shackleton, the man who was once described as one of the most undefeated and unconquerable men in the world, a guy who refused to set any limits to the bounds of human endurance. Could the third man have been a figment of his imagination, a self-created internal coach to help him cope with the incredibly demanding task at hand? Could it have been a hallucination brought on by extreme dehydration he may have endured? I don't know. What I do know is everybody has a breaking point. And is there something or someone out there that is keenly aware of this, who is willing to help people like Shackleton get through some of the most harrowing and extreme challenges of life? Let me know your thoughts on this topic. I hope you like it. We'll be rolling out more videos like this, so come check back soon. Thanks for watching.